future does not plan itself. And the sooner you start, the better it looks. Now, in this episode, we're breaking down what it really means to protect your present and plan for your future. Joining me are three financial professionals who know this world inside out. Mrs. Kavita Noor, Tennille Alonzo, and Nichelle Emmanuel. They're here to share practical tips, expert strategies, and clear guidance to help you make smart, confident financial moves. Kavita, it is such a pleasure to have you. Welcome to the show.
Thank you so much for having me.
Could you share with our viewers your background with Guardian Life?
Sure. I am an executive agent. I've been with Guardian Life for the past 9 years. I thoroughly enjoy my job. It is one of the most rewarding and fantastic job anybody can get.
Tell us exactly what is pension and why it is so crucial.
A pension is really a long-term savings plan that provides an income upon retirement. For me, retirement is not an age. It is really a lifestyle. And my job is to enable you to have that lifestyle you dream of. Imagine upon retirement, you don't have to worry about the government. You don't have to worry about any form of market structure change or anything like that.
Right.
Your income is guaranteed.
Okay, beautiful. Now, at what age should someone start thinking about getting a pension plan?
Essentially, the earlier the better. Somebody should start thinking about it in their early 30s to as early as their 20s.
Okay.
And it is important because they get the benefit of compound interest. They start to learn about financial planning at an earlier age and putting aside that money that will help them towards their retirement.
What are the different types of pension plans that are available? Because I know there may be a list.
So there are a few. There are employer-sponsored plans. Employer-sponsored plan is where the employers contribute as well as the employees match that contribution, which is something I try to tell clients when I meet up with them. It is very important. As long as your employer is having a pension plan for you and contributes towards it, please join.
Okay.
Right? Then there's also individual savings that persons can do to help with their retirement. And of course, there's annuities, which are provided by the insurance company. We have two different types of annuities. We have registered annuities and unregistered annuities. And I'll give you an example. The government has an incentive for registered annuities. They say, for every $100 you contribute towards your annuity, we give you $25 back from your PAYE.
Okay.
Who would like to pay taxes? That's an incentive to get some money back.
Yes, okay. Now, as you mentioned, retirement, how does one determine how much they'll need for retirement?
Well, there are a few factors to take into consideration, but you can use a retirement calculator or you can speak to a financial advisor and they could help you assess the accurate amount you can get for your contributions or help you assess for your retirement.
Now, we've heard this story. We've heard from persons time and time again in terms of not having enough for retirement. What actually happens when someone doesn't have enough for retirement?
Well, there's a saying, when you fail to plan, you plan to fail.
Yeah.
And not having enough for retirement puts a strain not only on yourself, because there's a difference between being forced to work and wanting to work at retirement age.
Okay.
And when you do not plan, you are forced to work, right? Or you have to be a burden on your family.
Okay.
Or drop your standard of living. And I'm pretty sure if you talk to persons at that stage in their life, they'll be like, they wish they planned sooner.
Correct. And I know you may have encountered persons like that before.
Yes.
What sort of advice can you give to persons out there who are just thinking about starting a pension plan journey?
Start now, right?
Okay.
I will always say small amounts, you save over time, you take advantage of employer contributions, tax incentives, investment opportunities that can help you save for your retirement. And do something today that the future you will thank you for.
That's fantastic.
During COVID, the world of uncertainties happened, and persons did not know where their next income would come from. My retired clients did not face that financial burden, as their pension secured by Guardian Life, they were still able to maintain their lifestyle.
Absolutely love that, Kavita. Thank you so much. And to our listeners, your financial future starts with one decision. So make the move, ask the questions, and start building something that lasts. Because the right coverage, the right plan, and the right support can bring peace of mind today and security tomorrow. I'm Tamara Williams.
I am Kavita Noor. We are Guardian Life.
I am, you are, we are Guardian Life. Embrace life with Guardian Life.
Every sunrise brings a new beginning, a quiet promise that we're never truly alone in life's journey.
So grateful for this precious life. Embrace it with a fearless stride. Dig so deep to turn your dreams to reality. With a bright future on your side. Through every journey you will find what you've earned and accomplished. You now deserve to be. Embrace life with Guardian Life. Only you can pave the road for your legacy. Embrace life with Guardian Life. Every step is one step closer to live easy.
Embrace life with Guardian Life. Life, health insurance, and pension solutions.
I am, you are, we are Guardian Life.
Tennille, it is such a pleasure to have you here with us. And we want to start with your journey, how long you've been with Guardian Life, and share with us your path to where you are right now.
All right, so I started in Guardian Life about 7 years ago. I actually stumbled into Guardian Life, literally.
Right.
I had no intentions of being in this career. However, it was a divine accident, I would say, because at the time I was in a place in a career transition and I was looking for an entrepreneurial opportunity, which I didn't think Guardian was that, of course.
Okay.
But in doing some research about what life insurance agents do, I stumbled into this training session and my eyes were opened.
Wow.
I recognized that I was so ignorant of basic things. And I say basic because what we do at Guardian Life is fundamental to life.
Okay.
And I felt like, you know what, if I was at that age and I did not have this basic knowledge, you know,
Yeah.
you go to school, you learn things.
Correct.
And it's like, how is it that I'm so ignorant about something so basic? I said, no, I need to be part of the solution. So
Okay.
that's when I decided to join Guardian Life. And
That's
I'm
great.
so glad that I did. And in that 7 years, I've learned so much. I've met so many people, and I've recognized that I am able now to define the contribution that I want to make. And one of those areas actually is in the area of retirement.
Okay.
Because I recognize that everything that we do leads to that point
Yes.
where we retire. And the good thing with Guardian Life is that everything that Guardian offers is actually part of a retirement plan.
Okay.
Believe it or not.
And as you mentioned, it's inevitable. Retirement is inevitable, whether we want it or not.
Well, it's a gift to retire, right? Because not
True.
everybody will retire.
Yeah.
But the reality is you're planning for hopefully old age. And if you're doing that, you want to ensure that you're prepared properly.
Okay.
And so I developed a system called the Retire Smart system that allows people to structure their retirement planning process.
Okay.
Because unlike, let's say, yes, you may get, maybe you have a mutual fund, for example, or you may have an annuity, which is important.
Yeah.
But the reality is you want to structure it and understand how it actually serves your vision for retirement.
Oh, wow. That is inspirational. Thank you so much for sharing that
Yes,
with us.
thank you.
Now, with all the economic uncertainty, we're talking about rising prices, inflation, even currency shifts. How has that changed the way people need to plan for retirement?
Well, yes, we're seeing right now. I mean, if you look at the news, you're seeing
Yeah.
what's happening, right?
Correct.
10 years ago, the money that you saved will not necessarily buy you the lifestyle that you have right now.
For sure.
So when you think about even now with our current scenarios, whether it's the tariff wars or the rise in prices, inflation,
Yes.
think about that 20, 30 years from now. We cannot predict the dynamics economically.
Yeah.
But what we can do is look at where we can pivot and adjust based on our current scenarios. And so even though, yes, there may be changes,
Yeah.
we should anticipate the changes. We are living in the changes.
Yeah.
And therefore, we should always be there motivated. Because if it is that you're not recognizing that, hey, I'm 30, I'm 40,
Yeah.
and look at what's happening today. If I am 60, and 65 and I'm more vulnerable,
Oh, wow.
what will be my situation? That is nothing but a clarion call to act.
Yeah.
And that is what this scenario of looking at all of your changes, whether it's inflation, rising prices, protectionist policies and how that impacts your day to day, you want to literally think about what you can do today.
So, Tani, let's paint a picture. Now, what are some of the retirement realities that you're seeing today that people may not be prepared for? I mean, you added like the tariffs, for example, the tariff wars and so on. What else in addition to that can you share with us in your vision?
Well, the realities of retirement, it's very relatable. So, for example, someone may be, and I actually dealt with a client recently, they decided that they wanted to retire at 60.
All right.
They probably decided that 10 years ago. But when
Okay.
they became that age, they realized that they could not retire at 60 because they had some health challenges, aging parents, etc. And that reality forced them back into work.
Yes.
So the realities of retirement planning is that you cannot always predict the dynamics of what will happen when you retire, but you can prepare to a point where you can hopefully control some of those dynamics.
You mentioned that pensions have changed. So, based on your knowledge and your history with Guardian Life, when it comes to the changes that occurred with pension, based on the previous knowledge you would have had to now, would you say it has changed a lot?
It has changed significantly. And it's not just in Trinidad and Tobago. This is globally.
Okay.
So in the 1960s, 70s, 80s, maybe early 90s, particularly those who worked in the private sector, you worked in a company, you were guaranteed a pension.
Right.
Right? So growing old was lovely because
Yeah.
you knew you would get a pension and it was defined.
Okay.
So if you, just like government workers typically, what they would have, a private sector worker could say, you know what, I know I'll retire with X amount of dollars by the time I'm ready. That is what they had what they call a defined pension plan.
Okay.
However, in the 90s, that changed. Right? And that was due to economic changes, right? And it was very risky for these companies to have that type of plan. So what they did was they transferred the risk to the employee.
Right.
And they then introduced what we call defined contribution plans, and what we know as the annuities, for example. Now, this is very important, Tamara. Very, very important.
Tell us.
Because when you have an annuity, and it's a very important product because it's a guaranteed income that you're building, you still must know whether you are contributing enough. You must know your numbers because you are in the driver's seat. Unlike, let's say, what happened in the past where your employer determined or assisted you in determining your income, you now have to determine your income using these tools.
So with reference to the annuity, as you mentioned that, and knowing your income and so on, I want to ask, what's the real value of an annuity in today's world, based on all the challenges you've highlighted?
An annuity is your retirement safety net.
Okay.
So just as we explained, you have your NIS, you have your government or your work pension that could come through. The reality is those sources may not be sufficient.
Okay.
And so when you do a proper assessment, like what I do in my Retire Smart system, and you recognize this is my vision for retirement, this is what I need, this is my gap.
Okay.
And you then say, okay, well, I have this source, that source, that source, but it's not quite matching up. Your annuity is your control safety net to ensure that you can retire properly. And so that is, and then it's guaranteed income. So it is one of the key elements in anybody's retirement plan. So anybody that says, I will wait until I'm 65, oh my God.
But there are some persons who will say, I have rent, property, business, all these different things to pay. I don't have any extra for that. What would you say to them?
Well, are you referring to those who may have those as additional
When
income
they think
sources?
that's right.
Right.
And when they want to, because you're saying in terms of the annuity, you have this allocated, that allocated, and you still have the middle here. But if I have nothing to put in the middle here in terms of the annuity aspect of it, and I'm telling you that I have all these expenditures,
Right.
what do you say to them?
Well, I think that is a very valid concern that persons have when it comes to their expenses.
Yeah.
The reality is, however, that your expenses in the context of prioritization is a factor that must be considered,
Okay.
right? And if you think about your what you are foregoing by
Okay.
not putting something aside, it is actually a huge risk. But the other thing is that there may be opportunities, for example, bonuses that you get, tax
Okay.
refunds that you may have, that you can put into your annuity.
Girl, all those things, people want to buy shoes, they want to buy extra stuff.
Right,
when
and that
they
is
get those
fine.
costs.
And that is fine. As was said earlier, if you want to essentially do everything now
Yes.
and not put something aside for later,
Correct.
you will pay the price of
Yes,
that.
you
And
will.
yes, I know we have a culture of instant gratification. People want what they want when they want it. But think about your vulnerable older self. And I don't think we need to look very far. You have grandparents, you may have people in your community, for
Yes,
example, who you
yeah.
see every day. And you
Correct.
see sometimes that they are living way below their standard, or the standard that would be nice and comfortable.
Yes.
And you don't want to be in that situation. And so, and you don't want to be a burden to your family.
Correct.
So in that sense, you want to look at a plan that would allow you to think about your future self.
Okay, well, speaking of plan, for those who haven't started yet or they feel left behind, how do they start?
Well, the first thing you want to do is you want to ask yourself a few questions, right? So what is the lifestyle I want when I retire? And how do I build that, right?
Yeah.
What are the income sources that I currently have, and what are the income sources I want to create? So I think you mentioned earlier, you talked about business and real estate. So some people look at business income and real estate income as one or part of their retirement plan.
Yeah.
What I would say, especially to the entrepreneurs, this is really important. You may have these elements of income, and that's great. It's important. However, those incomes are also at risk. They're not
Yes.
always steady.
Yeah, correct.
So the economy could dip, and so your business could go out of function or operation.
Yeah.
And then your tenants may leave at different points, and your income could also be impacted. Whereas
Yes.
an annuity is guaranteed. So if you have these income streams now and they're doing really well, you want to consider a portion of, putting a portion of that into a stream of income for your retirement that is going to be so consistent, so steady, that you will not regret it.
Oh, wow.
A key reality of retirement is longevity. You may live longer than you expect. My grandmother will be turning 100 in a few months, and I'm sure when she retired at 60, she never thought that she would be living 40 years later. And that's a reality that many of us may face as well. So when we're thinking about retirement planning, we must think about this key fact. Would your money last as long as you? And if not, what are you going to do today to ensure that you can retire smart, not by accident, but by design? My name is Tanil, and I am here to assist persons who are interested in making serious moves towards ensuring that their retirement plan is income-proofed and ensures that they have the lifestyle that they want all the way into maybe 100.
Well said, Tanil. And to our listeners, the best financial decisions are the ones you make on purpose. So take that first step today, no matter how small. Whether it's reviewing your budget, reaching out to an advisor, or just setting a goal, it all counts. Progress doesn't have to be perfect. It just has to start. So keep learning, keep planning, and take control of your financial future, one smart choice at a time. Thanks for tuning in. Be sure to follow, subscribe, and share this episode with someone who needs to hear this. Until next time, stay with us and we look forward to many, many more with you. I'm Tamara Williams.
I'm Tanila Alonso. We're Guardian Life.
I am, you are, we are Guardian Life. Embrace life with Guardian Life.
Every sunrise brings a new beginning, a quiet promise that we're never truly alone in life's journey.
So grateful for this precious life. Embrace it with a fearless stride. Dig so deep to turn your dreams to reality. With a bright future on your side. Through every journey you will find what you've earned and accomplished. You now deserve to be. Embrace life with Guardian Life. Only you can pave the road for your legacy. Embrace life with Guardian Life. Every step is one step closer to live easy.
Embrace life with Guardian Life. Life, health insurance, and pension solutions.
I am, you are, we are Guardian Life. I am.
Welcome, Nichelle. So let's dive right in. Now, you know, most young professionals don't think about retirement in their 40s and 50s even. Why is it so important that one needs to start as early as their 20s or even younger, or even as soon as they start making that money?
Well, that's exactly what they're supposed to do, meaning that you have to start saving for your retirement from the day you start working. And the reason for that is that money takes time to grow.
Okay.
So therefore, for people who are aware, it uses compound interest. So the more
Okay.
time there is, faster the money can grow.
Okay, understood.
Yes?
Now, a lot of persons, they tend to think, well, I am young, I'm in my 20s, I have time to make that happen. I'll probably just wait until I'm in my 30s and put a larger saving toward to sort of catch up. What would you advise them to do?
Definitely not.
Why is that?
And the reason for that is it's always easier to save a little bit than to save a lot at a time.
Yes.
You know, because with our disposable incomes these days, it's hard to take a big chunk out at a time. The earlier you start saving, the less you need to save. So I could give you an example.
Okay.
If you start in your early 20s, you can save $200 a month for most of your life, and you would still end up with more in a retirement fund than if you were saving $2,000 and you started at 45.
Okay, yes.
Does that make sense?
It does make sense.
Right.
And when it comes to, you know, it makes a lot of sense. And with young persons, young people, they may have student loans, they may have rent even. How are they able to balance all these expenses and still try to peel out a little piece of money for savings toward pension?
Fantastic question. And I think that you hit the nail on the head. It is about balance. You know, in our financial world, we like to tell people the best thing you can do is to try to save between 5 to 10% of your income.
Okay.
And once you do that on a regular basis with habitual savings, you hardly ever feel it.
Okay, gotcha. Now, there's a general consensus at times, or a misconception per se, when it comes to pensions or retirement planning that you hear from young people. Share with us some of those misconceptions.
Okay. A lot of young people would tell us, that money, I may never see that money. Suppose I don't get old. Suppose I die early and
Yeah.
that kind of thing. But the real question is, suppose you don't. Suppose you live to a ripe old age.
Yeah.
Who's going to take care of you then? What kind of standard of living are you going to have then? And as we always know, the old saying goes, it's better to be prepared.
Right.
Yeah.
So the young persons listening now, being compelled or attracted to want or inspired to want to get into that pension plan from early, what sort of advice would you give to them?
One, if you're working, definitely find out from your employer if they have a retirement plan in place and if they can join. Secondly, open your own retirement plan.
Okay.
So that you could save as an individual and you can take it with you from one employer to the
To
next.
another, okay.
Yes, and you will always have it, as well as it can help you with your taxes, meaning that there's up to $60,000 in tax break every year that we don't use because we don't have registered pensions.
What about persons who may be self-employed or working part-time even, who may feel as though they don't have a consistent salary in order to facilitate that retirement plan consistently?
Oh, definitely. We have programs that can facilitate that. And it's just about sitting down and having a retirement planning conversation with an agent.
Okay, beautiful. And we're talking about young persons. And, you know, we were even chatting off camera at one point in time with reference to young persons and, you know, allowing them to be guided accordingly moving forward, those mentors type of ideas. What are your thoughts on that?
Definitely, I would tell them to learn from what they're seeing in their society now. A lot of people are past old age. They could be into their 60s and 70s, and we see them still working in very menial jobs.
Yes.
And I'm saying to you, trust me, they don't want to be there. They have to be there.
Right.
And it's because they did not do appropriate financial planning, retirement planning, especially for the old people that they would once be.
An experienced artist, I will say artist when it comes to money in the business of pension. What sort of advice will you share with the young persons in terms of encouraging them to get started today?
Money takes time to grow. And if you want to use less money, and most of us do, we want to save less, then you have to start now.
Nichelle, while chatting with you, whenever we talk about the young persons, the young professionals and their journey when it comes to retirement planning, you sort of light up. Do you have a special place in your heart for the young persons?
I do really. I think that they are very dynamic, and I am actually looking for dynamic young people, especially the ones who love to help people like I do.
Oh, beautiful.
And I've been doing for the last 20 years. So if there are young people out there looking for a great opportunity, love to help people, don't mind learning financial planning, please hit me a line. I am recruiting and I would love to meet you. My number is 226-6202, or you can get me at Emmanuel Financial Solutions on Insta and Emmanuel Financial Solutions Limited on Facebook.
Okay, beautiful. Thank you.
You're welcome. Recently, a mature man came to me for advice. He was turning 60 in a few months and he wanted to know what his pension would be. He visited National Insurance Board and unfortunately he was told that he did not make enough contributions and would not be receiving a pension. Many of us can find ourselves in positions like these if we don't start saving for retirement early.
Nichelle, thank you so much for sharing your insights with us today. Truly appreciated. If you found value in this episode, consider sending it to a friend who might benefit from a little retirement reality check as well. And remember, it's not just about thinking ahead. It's about acting now. Secure your future by investing in a pension today. Your future self will certainly thank you. I'm Tamara Williams.
And I am Nichelle Emmanuel. We are Guardian Life.
I am, you are, we are.